Welcome to Creatives Grab Coffee, a podcast where we talk about the business of video production.
And we're back after a 1-year hiatus.
Welcome, everybody, to the Creatives Grab Coffee podcast.
Welcome. So what happened, Kyrill? What happened? We're gone for a whole year.
Oh, we just we went on vacation, to the Caribbean, it was just one of those things, we just needed to escape everything, right?
We were just so tired of the lockdowns. We just said, peace.
I really wish we could have done that. And it's not about a matter of affording it. It's more so like, it was so random what was happening last year with all the lockdowns and the traveling measures that were constantly happening. And it was just,
that has nothing to do with why we that has absolutely nothing to do with why we stopped the show.
We're basically just trying to paint an idealistic picture of why we did it. But anyways, we're back. It's 2022. We're 2 months in, and we're now on episode 15 of CGC. And we just wanted to kind of take this episode as like an opportunity to just kind of do a little bit of a recap, what we're planning to do, and what everyone can expect next.
Absolutely. Maybe we should start off with why we stopped, and that'll go into a recap of 2021.
Yeah,
and then I guess we'll circle back to our plans for the show going forward.
Sounds good. So Dario, in your opinion, why did we stop?
I think we stopped because we just had way too much on our plate, and I think at that point the show kind of served its purpose. For those that don't know, we kind of started the show as a way to just get back in the groove of creating stuff, because we were jobless for several months during the height of COVID in 2020. And the second reason was obviously to network with like-minded professionals. And I think we achieved both of those. And then once that happened, we kind of just left it on the side and forgot about it.
It wasn't planned. It was kind of like like essentially we kind of had the plan to re-kickstart it or to restart it in 2021. But one thing we quickly realized was a lot of things that were lacking in our business that we wanted to kind of implement, or at least start implementing. And like, for example, one of those was, redoing our website, implementing SEO and online marketing, because we'd never done that before. And that was one of the very first things we started to implement. And we decided to just take a pause on the show, revisit it at a later date, and then just kind of see where we can go from there.
Yeah, I think you just summed it up perfectly. I think we were actually surprised that the warm reception it was receiving from a lot of people that we knew. Everyone was always like, "Oh yeah, I checked out an episode. It was really good," and all that. And I was like, "Okay, that's good to hear."
I think part of it also, though, is it's not that they didn't like the show, but I think in 2020, people were all trying to kind of like push each other and motivate each other, and it was great always to see other people, still working, amidst, such an unexpected like halting of work, because we knew a lot of people who were either losing their jobs or, losing their businesses. And so anytime, at least for me, like anytime I saw someone like being able to execute a project, or still keep working, you wanted to kind of celebrate that. And so people were kind of reciprocating that with you as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I think that's the main reason why we stopped it. And then now we're restarting it because I gotta admit, I kind of missed it a little bit. It was really nice to network with a lot of people. It was great to find out more about the industry you're in, and then also just talk business with other people. Like I found it to be better than listening to those Gary V videos, or I don't know, whichever videos pop up.
I know what you mean,
YouTube.
like the feel good business videos, the ones that are that try to be super motivational, but are also very general and you can't really relate or apply it. And that was the one cool thing that I liked about doing this show, is that it seemed relatable. How it's always weird to kind of like look back at some work that you do, or like if you ever see yourself on camera. I didn't think like that when I saw each of our episodes. I'm like, oh, this is actually very casual. It's it seems very relatable. At least that's what also some people have been telling me, and I thought that was definitely a great attribute of it.
Yeah, it was just real people just having real conversations, and they were honest. I thought like we kind of shared pretty openly, and the people that came on were sharing their struggles or their achievements pretty openly as well.
Yeah,
It,
I
it
think
didn't
that's
it didn't like sugarcoat anything. It was just raw.
mhm. I think that was one thing that a lot of us didn't really expect, because the one funny thing about this industry is that we're always everybody's very in their own space, bubble space, right? In their own, or at least in their own bubble, and it's hard to kind of understand what other people are going through on the outside, except for what you see online, right? Like to most people, what's happening at Laps is basically what we've been posting or not posting, right? And that's actually one of the things I want us to start doing a bit more of over the next
Posting
year.
on social.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a hiatus for us in terms of getting in terms of like putting ourselves out there a bit more like that, at least in a public forum. We've been networking and reaching out to people and trying to develop the business internally, but haven't been so much on the external side, kind of been pushing outwards. And I think that's one of the first things I want us to kind of focus on for this year. And surprisingly, it's not very difficult, but it's also at the same time hard to kind of keep the habit going, or at least get it started, right?
I mean, it's not hard, but it is very time consuming.
That's the thing.
Like this week I was focusing a lot on outreach for the show, and it's so time consuming, and now it's starting to pick up the pace too, and we got to release this like I'm guessing by next week
Yeah.
because we got to get that ball rolling. I just wish we had like more people that we could just delegate this to.
Yeah, but like any business, you have to start somewhere, right? And
Yeah.
not all those Fortune 500 companies, they didn't just become that massive in scale just like that. You got to start somewhere. You got to build the foundation. And that's essentially what we're doing. Like I definitely look forward to the day when the Laps team expands further than what it is right now. Like currently it's just the two of us. We've been doing this now for what, 7 or 8 years, but I look forward to like a day where we have more and more peers that we kind of like work with on the daily basis. It's cool that we get to work with some freelancers pretty frequently now, with some editors and shooters, but it's not the same as having like a very core team, right?
Mm-hmm. Agree. Yeah, that's definitely in the 3 to 5 year plan for sure.
Yeah,
Get an office, get a team,
it's
Avengers
getting there.
Assemble style.
Avengers Assemble. Yeah, we're right now on Iron Man. That's where we're at right
No,
now
we're
with
at we're at we're at Iron Man 2 right now, I would say.
yeah, I would agree. Iron Man 2, we're teasing some things that we're
We
meeting the
skipped over
people.
we skipped over Thor.
Yeah, no Thor. We didn't we missed out on Thor. The Avengers Assemble. We get mini episodes of that every now and then. With each project, but it's not like a permanent Avengers thing yet,
That's
right?
funny. We should someone should actually do that where they relate to the progress of the Marvel movies. So it's like right now in my business, I'm at Iron Man 2 level.
Yeah, exactly. It's because it's like a filmmaker's blueprint at this point, right?
Yeah,
Man.
that'd be a funny way to do it.
So what were like
But a lot of
some?
the companies we'll be bringing on going forward are definitely past the first Avengers movie though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well
Like
into
that's
the
the
second.
that was like the one cool thing about the first few guests that we interviewed, because they all were completely different, not only in terms of size and scale, but also in terms of their niches, the types of work they did, their process. Like everyone is different. I have yet to find two production companies that are exactly the same. Like they're all just a little bit different, as Vincent Vega once said from Pulp Fiction, over there they have it all just a little different.
The question is, who uses mayonnaise instead of ketchup for the fries?
I don't know. I feel like mayonnaise is more so like the really big companies. Ketchup, is in certain aspects, but
Too
yeah,
low
man,
class.
yeah.
No, it's
Like,
because you're selling. I forgot who said this, but it's because we're not selling products, even though video is a product. and I was actually debating putting product on the website instead of services. But going back to it, is because we're selling ourselves, which is art in a way, right? Because
Yeah.
we're all creative, so we're selling different artworks for each client, right?
Yeah.
Now,
It's
I'm
a,
not saying it's like we're doing Starry Night or anything like that, but it is kind of like that. So it's not like we're selling, I don't know, cameras where roughly it'll be like this and like that, and you can mass produce it. Everything's like tailor made
yeah.
to the client for the client.
Exactly. And what people don't realize is no matter what business you're in, but especially in the video production industry, you're selling yourself. You are in a way the business. And that was one cool thing that we learned from one of our podcast episodes. I think it was Chris from SVG that said it was that, like content is constantly changing, but no, wait, no, that wasn't it. Sorry. I mixed up on
I
the,
think you need to rewatch the episodes.
I think I need to rewatch the episodes. No, okay, let's rewind back a little bit here.
This is staying in. This is staying in.
Oh my god.
All your mess ups are staying in.
Oh, that's funny. No, it was actually John Corbin from Corbin Visual that said, there's no one that could sell story better or sell themselves more than you. Only you can sell your business. Yes, you can kind of delegate some ideas, to other people, but you can't entrust other people to be the only ones to ever sell you, because no one can sell you better than you. And that was one thing that was made apparent because I remember early on when we were starting Laps, we were trying to find other people who could essentially just handle the business aspect of it, and
The
they do
sales
the selling,
aspect. The sales
the
aspect.
sales aspect of it, but they can't do that necessarily, right? Like they can't do it at least to the level that we know the business, right? And so once I made that realization, I think once we both made that realization, it just kind of became a little bit easier in terms of how we interacted, how we networked, and what we focused on with the business.
There's some companies that I think do have salespeople that are selling for them. I know who's the animation company we brought on? Uh oh my god, it's escaping me.
By the booth?
By the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so bad with names. James.
Yeah, James.
James is a salesperson for
Right,
that,
right.
right? So I think after you get to a certain stage, you just have to, but by that point it should be a normal thing to do, right?
I think being able to delegate sales is when you have a little bit more of a streamlined sales process. It's very difficult to do it when you have a very custom based approach,
But
because
yet they do it because I've
yeah.
started noticing with some of the other companies we're outreaching to, if they're really big, they have like specific people doing like sales and marketing or whatnot, right? So I think it's just a matter of scaling, right? I think
Yeah.
maybe once you get to a certain size, it's inevitable you have to do that anyhow.
Yeah. I'm very curious about what the step-by-step process and the scaling will be, because I know there were some companies like Dorothy from what was it, QV
Q
Media?
Q me Q Media Solutions.
Q Media Solutions, yeah.
Yeah,
She
sorry guys if we can't remember the names and the
yeah,
companies. It's been 12 months.
it's been a little bit
It's
of
been it's
a
been
little
longer
bit of
than
a
that, I
while.
think actually. I think
Has it
it's
been that
been
long?
just over a year.
Yeah, just over a year. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to my point. Like, Dorothy mentioned that one of the things that forced her business to scale very quickly was the fact that they got this one massive project just like that at the beginning, which took them from like a zero to 100 real quick type of company, right? All of a sudden, you have to bring in a whole core team of people so that this project can be executed. There's a whole lot of work that needs to be done. So like that's an example of something scaling very quickly. Whereas you and I, we're going the very, the slow ETF approach, with um with growth. It's not like the stock market where it just like shoots up and down constantly like that. We're trying to kind of get that steady growth, so that there's like a little bit more of a stable foundation, because before it was like that, right? It was like busy 1 month, 2 months, then nothing. Busy another month, then nothing, and we're trying to kind of break out of that a little bit more.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we're trying. I think there's still a good amount of luck involved with that, but we are at the point now where we are getting more steady inflows of leads coming in, which is nice. Before it was all referral based work, and it worked. Wasn't bad, but we were starting to plateau, and then um, pandemic happened, and as I would say right after yeah, the pandemic happened, and we were empty till about September. And September, November, it was like all the work that we missed out on came in, and 2021's
Yeah.
been fairly consistent. 2022 started off
Yeah.
with a bang, which is great.
Yeah. I don't think
I'm
we've
curious
ever
to
had
see
a
where it goes.
January. I don't think we've ever had a January where we were shooting almost every day. I don't think any
Yeah, it
company
was
is,
wild.
or at least not many companies have that, so we were very, very fortunate to be able to be given that opportunity, and um, yeah, so we're looking forward to kind of replicating that more so in the coming months as well.
I really want to get to the point where it's like I want to be able to tell incoming leads, when do you need this by? Oh, yeah, sorry, we're busy for the next 6 months. Like that's the stage I want to get to.
It's not that we
My
want to
goal.
turn away work, guys. We just want to get to the point where, like, we want to dedicate ourselves to our clients, to the point where, like, we're focused on them, and we're not going to be like splitting our focus, with too much work that's coming in.
Yeah, no, at that point, all we do
Yeah.
is we just refer the work to other vendors that we know.
Yeah. Which is one of the
That's
purposes of this podcast. It's like we want to get to know other great people within the industry that, like, if ever we aren't able to take on a certain project, we would love to be able to just pass it off to other people that, we trust can do the work well.
or
And,
if we have a shoot in another city that production company is in, I'd
yeah.
love to just hire them and have them take care of it. Like, and hopefully that comes back the other the other way around too. But
Yeah.
it's mostly for networking first, industry second, and then obviously there's multiple perks associated to that.
Yeah, a lot of people see other businesses in their industry as purely as competition, and just want to, avoid them, or, do better than them only. But, one of the things that we also see is that it's a collaborative effort, because, like you said, sometimes a project is needs to be done in another city where, especially during the pandemic, that wasn't as easy to do, because no one could travel that easily from within countries, right? Because of
Hmm.
the virus. And so a few companies from the States reached out to us where they needed some work done here in Toronto, and we were able to help them out with that. And like, we have a few projects now where, like, people are asking for certain cities within the States. And you know this is why, like, we see it as a collaborative effort, because we all help each other. We're all
Yeah,
putting food
yeah,
on the table.
yeah. Like we're not competitors because there's enough work to go around. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, no one can take it all because no one can even scale to those levels to be able to handle it all. There's like
Yeah.
natural limits in place. Like I think our business, we didn't know this going in, but there's a limit to the amount of work you could possibly do. And I forgot who talked about this, but like it's hard to scale past like I think I forgot which episode this was in, but it was like easy to
Yeah. Yeah.
scale to $1 million company, $1 million production company. 1 to 3 is difficult, and then past that it's insanely hard.
I think it might have been Matt from Viva Media. I think he was the one who might have touched upon that a little bit. But yeah, like, when it comes to scaling a business, like, it's like the the I guess it depends, though. Like, in some businesses, like, the first million is the hardest, and then it becomes a little bit easier. But
But
in
think about it
business,
like
it
this.
it
Think about it like
varies.
this. Think about it like this, though. Think about the last month we just had in January.
Yeah.
Okay, that took up the whole month. Now we
Yeah.
made some really really good money off of it, but
We couldn't
January we
do
weren't we
anything
weren't
else.
yeah, like we could have, I guess, like on the weekends, but then we would have like been burnt out by the end of it, right?
Well, here's what we could have done. If there was enough work coming in January, where, like, some other bigger projects, because I think there were some clients that were talking to us about doing some work, but it didn't pan out. But I was already ready with an idea of what we can do. Essentially, it would have been simply like us splitting off. So, for example, on this project, it was both of us on it. Whereas if we had, say, one other project each week that someone needed to be on. One of us would go do that project with a team of shooters and crew, and then we would bring other crew for this one. So it just depends on how many people can manage projects within a business that you can kind of scale, right? So for example,
But there's a limit to that, dude. Like,
there
think
is a
about it.
limit. The limit is how much each of us can handle, right? So there's two of us. If we want to expand and grow in terms of being able to take on more work at the same time, we would essentially need to find other people who can do what we do, right? So another producer that can, handle and manage projects like this, and
Right,
just
but
kind
then
of
you're also yeah, but you're like, look, you're still leaving yourself open to missing out on other work, because it's like, okay, if everyone is all crew on deck for that whole month, you're not going to be taking in any new business
yeah,
because
no,
everyone's
that's
just
true.
focusing on that.
Yeah,
And like,
there's
think
there's
about like trying to handle new business coming in. You got to prepare the pitch, you got to prepare the proposal. There's stuff on the back end you got to do. There's other projects that are moving in other stages of the production process. I don't know. Like, I think there's a natural limit to it, right?
there's always going to be a natural limit. Yes, you could hire more and more people as they go, but um yeah,
Even
like
if
I
it's,
mean,
but even hiring other people, you can't really hire people that are like you can't really
at least
find a
vetted.
temporary, yeah, you can't find like a freelance producer like that, like just out of the blue like that, right?
Yeah, you have to be able to see how much consistent work you're coming in, and how much consistent work is coming in, and then that's when you can even bring on people full time, maybe. But even then, there's that limit, like you said. Like, say for example, the limit for each of us to manage at the same time was 3 to 5 projects, right? That means at any given time we should only have 10 projects at maximum happening at the exact same time, right? So that is how we determine our limits. And then if we need to, if we're starting to see that there's more of a demand for more of that, then we could start bringing in other talent. But like you said, you can't just temporarily bring in certain people that manage all this stuff, because again, like, it's like you said, there's a natural limit. I mean, if you look at all these ad agencies that are massive or global, like, they technically also still have limits. Otherwise, if they could take on literally everything, there would only be one agency.
They probably have access to different things, or they probably have access to funding. Since they're like a corporation, they might go public or they might get bought out by another bigger agency. So they probably have I mean, they definitely have bigger resources. But for companies like ours and other people in our industry, we're not kind of at that level, right? Like,
Right.
just it's still like small teams of people running a business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's where we're
There's
at right now. That's where a lot of the companies are at right now. And
To be honest, it's not a bad place to be at, because it
no,
means that you and I take home a chunk of the profits, right? The more people you get, the less your profit margin is. And what else? Like, even if you expand your business, like, it just adds more costs, right? I think
yeah.
the way we're doing it now is pretty good.
Yeah, we're on a good trajectory, and I like the slow growth because it allows us to figure out more things about our business, what works, what doesn't work, what kind of talent we could bring in, what talent is needed. Because imagine if we were like, what we thought we knew 2 3 years ago is not what we know now, right? Say like 2 3 years ago we thought we needed to hire, like, as our first hire we would need an editor, a shooter, and a sound person as full time. Say we needed that. It's like, that's what we thought we needed. And then imagine if we decided to just go for it then, because we all of a sudden had the influx of work, hired them, but then we realized, oh, we actually didn't need to hire all 3 of them. Maybe we only needed to hire 1 or 2 because of what the long term projections have been, right? Whereas now it's like, okay, at this stage, we know that we would need, say, an editor to come in full time in the somewhat near future, so we can at least plan for that, right? So it's constantly changing, right?
I mean, look, there's benefits and negatives to both, like,
Of course,
expanding your team or keeping it skeletal.
yeah,
I personally think for us, skeletal is the best way to go forward, because
yeah,
again, it's like we get to take home a chunk of the profits. Like, we handle stuff that we know we can handle. There's, again, once you grow your business past a certain size, you introduce a whole other set of things you need to think about. But I
yeah,
think the way we're going about it now is fine.
Yeah.
Going forward, skeletal team, I think is the best approach in this
Yeah.
kind of industry, I think.
Yeah, well, it's because it's constantly changing, and with what happened with the pandemic, everybody's focus kind of shift. But at the same time, one big benefit about, uh, I don't want to, I hate saying benefit with the pandemic because a lot of people suffered with it, but I mean, like one side effect that came from it was that video became even more and more important, and people
Yeah.
realized, like, because of the pandemic, everyone realized how important it was. People, how many years I had people like showing me statistics, or like about how important video is, how it's so key to grow or to communicate with clients. It's like people knew that, but they also had their own set of they had their own set ways, and there wasn't as much of a disruptor to the industry quite like the pandemic to make them realize that, right? So there's a lot of opportunity now, and like ironically, like how we're doing now as a business at Labs Productions is we're doing a lot better than how we were doing before the pandemic, which
Oh
really
yeah,
shocked
it's
me.
been yeah, it's been. We're one of the few businesses that's like done well during the pandemic. I mean, it's not done yet, but
Yeah. Well,
I
I
think
think,
it's done. Are we done yet? I don't know.
well, according to the government, we're done. So
Eh,
I don't know. They might come out in like a month's time and be like, "Oh no, it breaks my heart to do this, but we need
no, I think
to."
I think it's completely done.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what's going to be really interesting is talking to international companies and seeing what it's been like on their side, because
yeah.
we're reaching out to people in the UK, Australia, US, obviously. Uh, are there any other English speaking countries out there? Or predominantly,
Australia.
I said Australia. No,
Oh, did you?
I think so.
Either way, we actually
New
did have
Zealand,
someone
we could do New Zealand maybe.
that's very niche.
There's like 3 companies there. That'd be fun to get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, who knows? Like this is episode 15, like Rome wasn't built in a day. The Joe Rogan podcast wasn't built in a day. He has like 1,500 episodes. It didn't happen overnight, right? So
That's
yeah,
crazy. 1,500. We already shot 2 before this. So today's February 23rd. This is the first one that's gonna start off the series. We've shot 2 already, and we have like what, another
6 or 7 on the
eight,
way.
eight. No, I got 2 more people that are interested this morning.
Tomato,
We already have like
tomato.
9.
We've got
So we're already
billions
starting
of
off.
interviews. Billions.
But yeah, I think we're already past 10. I think we might be at 10 and 11. So if we do this, like
Perfect.
my goal was to get 30 for this year, but I think
Oh,
at
we'll
the
get
rate
that
we're,
easy.
I honestly want to do it like post once a week.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
we're
yeah. Keep
scheduling
it.
the interviews so that we're doing them twice a week, but if we post them once a week, I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the way we're kind of going about is where, like, for example, if there's like a week where we get really busy with client projects, we don't want to, divert our attention away from those projects. So at the very least, we'll still have content for our audiences to, be able to watch and be entertained with.
Yeah. But a lot of people are going to be coming on. We have to start reaching internationally to spruce it up, because right now there's a lot of Canadian companies coming on, but I want to get like a mix. I want it to be like
Yeah.
mixed a little.
I also don't want to do too many in the beginning because, like, so I like having some of the content also be, you know, like topics that are like key at that time, right? Like the last thing I want to do is also like, if we do like say 30 episodes in 1 month, and then one of those like some of those videos we're all talking about pretty much similar things that are happening at that point, like
No,
I
we're not
want to.
doing 30 in a month. Like
No, I
at
know, I'm just
max, we're
saying
gonna
as an
we're gonna do
example,
like
right?
2 a week at max.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm just saying
Maybe
as an
drop it down to
example,
once a
right?
week. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
and then posting wise, like it's just being posted once a week. Oh, another thing that surprised me too is that the old episodes are starting to go up in like view counts.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just because it's been like a year and a little bit that it just naturally got some views, but it was pretty funny about that one guest that you reached out to. Why don't you share that?
Oh, yeah. It was a Toronto-based company. I obviously can't remember the name because I'm terrible with names, but
What's
they're
my name?
like
Say my name. Say it.
Forrest the Bullet Dodger.
Goddamn right. Mean he
Who's
dodges
gonna get
bullets.
who's gonna get these references?
No one's gonna get the. Well, I don't know. Some people. We're talking to movie fanatics. They better get these references. If they comment below if you didn't.
Can you imagine to the one guy listening on Spotify? It's like, but where's the comment section?
Just email us complaints at lapseproductions.com.
at I don't care at lapseproductions.com. Okay, so yeah, reached out to this one Toronto-based company. They got back to me, and they're like, he said they were too boring to come on the show, which I think was a cop out. But he's like, I'm actually a fan of the show, and he sent me a screenshot of his Apple Podcast playlist, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
like he was listening to, I forget which episode, but he was listening to it.
I mean, that's cool to know that as little of a show that it was at the time, that it actually got a little bit of outreach. I don't know how it probably got into their hands because we didn't do all that much marketing back then,
No,
right?
barely.
So I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the name of the podcast, because it's a pretty catchy one.
Creatives grab coffee, which is funny because I don't
we're
drink coffee
drinking
anymore.
tea.
So, oh, you're drinking tea too?
Well, I'm doing the double.
I got my Toronto Zoo mug.
I got tea and coffee.
Oh, you're mixing it?
No, I just
That's
have a
weird,
coffee
man.
cup from earlier. That's all. I just wanted to have tea for the episode. Creatives grab tea.
It doesn't have the same vibe to it.
It doesn't have the same ring. Nobody ever says, "You want to go get tea?" Who says that?
Me.
I've never emailed I've never networked with people and said, "Hey, you know what we need to do? We need to go and catch up over a cup of tea." Unless, you know what, we have to
in
do
England.
that with the
In
UK.
England.
With the UK, we have to do it there. We're gonna make sure we like get only English breakfast. Keep it simple.
Oh my god, I would love an English breakfast in the morning. If I was really rich, I would hire a chef, and I would just, as soon as I wake up, I would just have the breakfast right there. That's my goal in life. You ever fantasize about like winning the lottery and the stuff you do?
No, because I don't want to depress myself.
I let myself sometimes, and it's an awful experience by the end.
Why
of
you
it.
do this? You like torturing yourself.
You know what I do? You know what I do? I fantasize like, oh man, what if I bought that $8,000 worth of ship in 2019? I'd be like I'd be a billionaire. I'd have $5 billion. What would I do with all that money?
Yeah, the crypto market is one scary place, especially like nowadays. It's just like constantly like it's given me a stronger stomach. I will say this. I used to be so risk averse.
Are you checking it out like every day? You're not supposed to check it out every
day. Because like you, I also like to torture myself.
Listen, you don't know torture, okay? My chain link and Polkadot, you don't know torture. What's happened to my babies?
Make it sound like these are trading cards. They don't even sound like stocks. They sound like trading cards. My chain link, my Polkadot. Like, what is
How funny
this?
is it? A lot of companies have the dumbest names when you think about it like that. Like Facebook.
But it made sense because it's a book. It's an online book.
It's not really a book. It's not really a book though.
It was, yeah. Like there was another name for it originally. They had another one. It was like Face Mash or something like that. They had like a different name, but that one was where they were rating students.
To think that company just started because Zuckerberg wanted to get laid really bad, wanted to hook up with college eds. That's how it started, though. You might laugh. It's true.
Well, a lot of Earth's greatest achievements and advances have been in the pursuit of getting laid. Yes. Look at what happened in Troy.
Oh yeah.
The battle for Troy was all because one prince took the other king's wife, and millions died because of that. Such a shame. Anyways,
yeah, we're about to go on a
we're going on a tangent. This ceased to be a video production podcast.
This is the type of chat we have in our WhatsApp group. I think people care about that. Okay, going forward though.
Yeah.
The focus for the podcast is also going to be that it's strictly focused on the business side of the video production industry. We'll obviously
Yeah.
talk creative as well when the opportunity
Yeah.
arises, but that's going to be the focus for us.
Yeah.
Actually, I got that from John Corbin from Corbin Visual because I was helping him out on a shoot, and um, he mentioned to the DP Ken that we have a podcast, and then Ken was like, "Oh, what's it about?" It's like, "Oh, they do a podcast on the video production industry." I'm like, "Oh my god, of course that's what we do."
Yeah, because we were originally trying to make it like a jack of all trades type podcast where we talk to creatives and people from different parts of the industry, like in the
And if you listen
marketing
to
and
the
the
other episodes, like the
yeah,
intro we have for it, it's so convoluted. Like we're trying to figure out a way to like be open, like leave it open ended. It's
yeah,
like we're not just doing video production companies, but
you
to be
got a
honest,
niche.
I feel perfectly like calm and confident talking to other video production companies. It just feels like a natural thing. I think if we spoke to like ad agencies at the moment, at least, like we just wouldn't know what to talk to them about, you know?
Yeah, because I think the one thing that as we mentioned before, is that the show needs to be relatable to the people watching it, right? At least to its audience. And, like we're basically sharing our experiences and not comparing necessarily, but kind of like sharing with other people so that they could learn from ours and so that we could also learn from them. Because the one thing that, as we mentioned before, is that, we think we're in our own bubble where we're only experiencing these things ourselves. Everyone else is a success. Everyone else is is thriving. It's not like we're the only ones suffering. No, everybody has very similar challenges, especially when it comes to starting a business. Even though we're in the video production industry, a lot of the challenges that we face running a business, other people face in other industries as well.
Like the grass is not always greener on the other side type of thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you know what? It may be greener on the other side, or it may look like it is, but that's what we call social media. It's a filter that makes it look greener. I'm just glad to have grass, considering that having land in Toronto is next to impossible, with houses going 600,000 over asking, which I was just seeing an article about an hour ago, and I'm like, there's no
Listen,
hope.
how lucky are we though that we're self-employed and we can decide how much money we want to make versus like someone who's employed where it's
How
like,
much we want to make, obviously
but it's
there's,
like, you know, like
yeah,
I know obviously like we're not gonna like make like $1 million a day type of thing, but it's like if we were doing a 9 to 5 thing,
it's
it'd
more
be very
locked in. Like
stressed.
that one is a little
Yeah.
bit more locked in, whereas this one, it's like, yeah, we could make, there's potential for more
There's
potential, like growth.
potential, yeah. Like at
Yeah.
least that calms me down a little bit because it's like if I don't make a lot this year, it's because I was being a bum. So it better motivate me for the next year, you know?
It's nice to know. It's nice to know like the work that we would put in, like it will be recognized, and then like it will move forward. Like, well, I did this one networking event with the American Marketing Association Toronto chapter. They were talking about how people always want to see how valued they are within the organization that they work with. And it was interesting just hearing people talking about, working with teams and other people, whereas, you know, it's just the two of us, right? And pretty much the immediate clients that we work with. And I feel like a lot of the recognition and, and feel good that we get from that is, like creating great work for our clients and seeing them happy with the work that we do. And so like, that's what I'm always striving for, and pushing for our business, and I feel like we're slowly growing and growing.
I actually did like a whole roadmap for our business, and there's really not that like it seems like there's a lot of work we have to do to get to where we want to be, but there's actually not that much. Like,
You just have to do it.
yeah, like when I broke it down, I
Baby
was like, oh,
steps,
it's
baby
only a
steps.
yeah, I was like, it's only a couple of things. It's not that bad. Like,
Yeah.
for example, like this podcast, we already said why we're doing it, and the steps to doing that, like it's just a little bit every day, just slowly growing the list of people to reach out to, send like a couple of emails a day,
Yeah.
connecting with people, replying with other people. And even just how we're going forward with these ones is just the editing is so easy. Like it's gonna take like 2 minutes to edit this
Yeah.
thing and then just upload it compared to how we were doing it before. It was like
Yeah. Three
four
angles.
screen,
We had three
four
angles
four
before.
angles, three audio. Don't even talk to me about that stuff. It used to take like half a day to go through that.
Yeah. We
Uh,
want to make this content easy and simple for people to watch because, at the
and
end of,
for us especially,
yeah.
because like, oh, that was, oh my god, yeah, that was another reason why we kind of like left it on the side, because it was too time consuming to go
Yeah.
through the editing. That's what it was.
Yeah, it definitely was that because uh, we would have to get the one mistake we did before. We were trying to make it like a
Very
show
fancy,
when
very fancy.
it wasn't there, and so we would have to get together for each episode to film ourselves on a Zoom call with a
So we
client.
would have to set up in Kyril's very small like room, like his study over there.
Yeah,
Oh my god, it was a nightmare, because then we'd start sweating because there was no ventilation.
it's a small
And
room. It's not meant for that much light. It was like we had like three massive lights,
lights,
three
yeah, like
massive lights, three cameras, a small table with chairs. It's like it's a study for like one person to work in essentially, right? Not
yeah.
so
And
much for
I'd
all
also have
that.
to spend like 30 minutes driving down, 30 minutes driving back up. There goes an hour of my day. Like, it was
Yeah.
just a nightmare. Now it's so simple. We're all in our office setups over here, and it's easy to go. Like, right after this, I'm just gonna slap on like the logo at the beginning, outro at the end with the social media CTAs and icons and links and whatever, and that's it. Like, this episode is good to go.
Yeah. Sometimes you just one thing people don't realize is that keeping things simple does not mean you have to really necessarily sacrifice on production quality. Production quality does not equate to things being super convoluted or complicated, right? You
Yeah.
know, it's just being smart and knowing how to make simple effective, because once you do that, production value is very easy to kind of add into it. It doesn't matter, like if we were to do this show in 8K versus HD, there's no benefit to it, and the supposed production value is lost because of the type of content it is, right? you
Yeah.
know it that only production quality only is super key. Like, for example, if you're shooting for something in like a movie theater, right? Shooting 8K versus HD is going to be noticeable, right? So that's one place.
Not really. I think in the
It
movie theaters
depends,
they show like HD quality stuff in the
but you
movie
know what I
theater.
mean. Like, they have a little bit more flexibility with it. So
Yeah.
I'm just giving
But
an example. This
yeah,
isn't.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, before
Yeah.
we but then going back to it. So there's this podcast, there's uh just we just got to keep making blog posts for SEO purposes, and then we
Yeah.
got to do their associated vlog for each blog post. So that's three right there. Then we just got to post on social media.
Yeah.
And like, I think just, oh yeah, we got to do some courses just to up our skills. We got to do Google AdWords
Yeah.
analytics. We need to learn Adobe InDesign, some Photoshop there as well.
Yeah.
That's
We
it, really.
essentially,
Like, we don't have a lot of stuff we got to do to be
yeah, that's more on the technical side. And like, we
yeah.
obviously also want to continue to grow creatively, and like one thing that was a bit on the back burner for a few years now because of the pandemic was doing more creative type projects, like also personal ones. And I think that is the key to grow creatively a little bit as well, because up until now we've just been focused on the business side of things, which are very important, but we also have to remember to also continue to grow creatively as well.
Yeah, like some mini docs would be cool. I really like
Yeah.
the Icarus one we did. Um, and what I also want us to start doing is like, every month has specific events that are going on, and we should do like spec spots for those months. Like,
Yeah, or something
there's
around that. Not
yeah, like
necessarily a spec spot, but like something
I
something
mean
creative
something
around it.
related to that.
Yeah.
Like, even for like the spec spot, we can create like a fake company that we're doing it for, and then we
Yeah.
could even get the URL for it and then just have it redirect to our website,
Should
and
we do it
we
for
can get
eCorp?
that's already taken. I could get
Sadly.
Celia to just do the logo design for us. So she just does like a fake logo, and then like we pretend it's like a real company and whatnot. Like, something like that's cool, right? Like, you
Yeah,
got like
yeah. No,
Mother's, but each month has like a specific thing. Like, you have Earth Day, and I don't
yeah.
know when. We have Mother's Day, and that's for that whole month. Father's Day, there's Canada Day. I don't know. There's like a bunch of stuff we could do, like spec spots for those.
Yeah.
Pretty
It all
interesting.
depends on how we delegate our time. We have to just be
Yeah, that's the
organized
hard
on
part.
that. And that's the challenge. So it's like we'll see kind of where it goes as the months go. But you know,
Yeah,
I'm
like
looking
guys, like what
forward
we
to it.
just told you right now is basically what we have planned for the year. But the thing is, it's just Kyrill and I doing all that stuff.
Yeah, we're the
And we
core
get
team.
distracted and we get distracted at times too. So
Well, it's not necessarily distractions, but it's like it's not the saying of like a fire just popped up, right? But it's like sometimes, for example, we're working on a client project, and it's like nearly completed, so then we start focusing on like some of the creative, but then the client needs like some changes made, or they need to jump on a call for some other project, like that's how a business is, right? Things pop up constantly, whether it's expected or not, and you have to learn to account for that, right? And that's just how it is. So
mhm,
we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes in the next few months, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
mhm. Uh, I don't know what else to say, but I think people are probably sick and tired of listening to us talk for how long has it been now?
It's probably been like about an hour or so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the other thing too. We're gonna keep these short going forward.
Yeah.
1 hour, bing bang boom, done. You
Air
can go
quote short,
along
under an hour.
short,
That's the
under an hour.
that's the goal. That's the goal. But yeah, we essentially wanted to just be like a good platform for people to just, sit back, relax, not take 3 hours or 4 hours like some podcasts are, but at least get a good a good dose of information and learn.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of time. We didn't get 100 million from Spotify to be able to do like 4 hour conversations with
I know.
people.
Otherwise, if we did, I mean, bye-bye video production and hello podcast production, right? But
uh,
anyway, no, we appreciate everyone who take the time to watch these episodes. Like I know it's not like a massive show with like hundreds of thousands of viewers, but
but it doesn't
like
need to be.
those
It doesn't
those
need to be
10 of
either.
you that are watching on a weekly basis, we appreciate you. So
No, it doesn't. Like I don't even. We never even started this to be big
no,
in
no.
it. It was just for ourselves and for other people in our industry. So
Keep us
I think as
sane.
long as I think as long as people in our industry are enjoying it, that I think we've achieved our goal. Like it was mostly for us and the people coming on, but to the
I
people
think
listening, like if you guys are getting enjoyment out of it and you're getting good information, then that's great too.
yeah, that's essentially it. We just want this to be like a fun, like kind of low key, chill type of show where people can just kind of like shoot the shit in the industry. We're basically trying to take networking at events onto this. That's kind of what we're trying
That's
to
how
go
I've been
for.
describing it to people I've been
Yeah.
reaching out to. Just think of it like a 1 hour networking session.
Yeah,
That's
we're
it.
having coffee, drinks, whatever, it depends on how late we do these shows, right? So if we do one at 7, then we could switch to harder tea, you know? Like
Because
Irish
we're gonna be
coffees.
Irish coffees,
Yeah.
because we are reaching out to people that are international, so there's gonna be a lot of like time differences that we got to account for. Like even
Yeah.
reaching out to the people in Vancouver, I scheduled one for like 3 p.m. and they're like, "Oh wait, can you do it like PST instead of EST?" And
No.
I was like, "Oh right, I forgot about all that time zones."
Yeah. I remember when we were doing interviews for this one client project, we had to interview people from all over the US and do it over Zoom. And that was a scheduling challenge right there because they would tell us what times they could do in their time. And then I'm just Googling on Google just to see what time that is for us. And then we could just schedule accordingly.
Dude,
But
I reached out to a company in Manitoba and I was like, wait, they don't use PST, but they also don't use EST.
they
What the
have
hell do
a
they?
mountain standard time or something
Yeah,
like
I
that.
found
Yeah.
out yesterday. I'm like, oh, there's MST. Interesting.
Yeah. Like there's time zones and each time
I
zone
know
is
you
like an
just
hour.
I know it's one of those things you just never think about though until you're like hit with it. You're like, oh, there's something aside PST and EST.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. But anyways, again, as we said, thank you everybody for watching the show. Hit that subscribe button or follow us on all our social channels and wherever you listen to your podcasts. And stay tuned for some future episodes. We
But
got
where
some
should they
exciting
follow
stuff.
us at? Should they follow us at Labs or Creatives Grab Coffee? Why
Follow us
not
at
both?
Creatives Grab Coffee, and if you're also cool with it, why not Labs Productions as well? Labs dot Productions.
On
That's what we.
Instagram. Oh wait, on Instagram though.
Yeah. Can we change that back to regular?
No, because then it's harder to read.
Yeah, but okay.
It's harder to read.
Okay, we'll have this conversation off the air.
Yeah. We're also creating a tab on our website where we're gonna have all these episodes over there.
Yeah.
It's gonna have we're gonna start creating, not we'll put the transcript for the whole thing if you want to read through it, and we'll also start to highlight like key points from each talk. So if there's
Yeah.
like several key points, we'll just highlight those in the blog post. And
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's it. If you want to be on the show, send us an email or just comment, or I don't know, get in touch with us. You know how to
Yeah.
do it.
Info
It's
at
not.
lapseproductions.com.
Yeah, you'll be able to figure it out. It's not. I don't even know if we're using that handle anymore. Actually, Kirill.
Do we know?
Info at Labs. Just reach out to one of us,
Just go,
Dario
just
at
go to
Labs.
our,
Yeah, just reach out to either Dario at Labs Productions or Kirill at Labs Productions.
yeah, or our
You
contact
know
form.
how to do it. It's not like we're talking to dinosaurs here. Like, you know how to find someone's contact info in today's world.
Oh man, this is the longest conclusion to an episode we've ever done. We're like debating on where people need to find us or get in touch with us. Don't worry, we're not hidden
Why don't
on
you
the
just give them your
internet.
address? Give them your home address.
Oh, why not, right? You know, make
Dox
it
yourself.
public. Make it public. I'm in a bunker, everybody. No one will find me. I'm in one of those old shelters, you know, from like the Cold War era.
I wonder if they have any of those in Canada. Anyways, we're going off
Oh, yeah.
topic here.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace, everyone.
Peace. That one
And
was much
stop.
better.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's cut it now.